morning, my people. Good morning, Muyombia, Macris, Da Vinci, Tusime, Eddie, Mudope, Joshua, Triple M, Bashir, Katumba, Hamidu, Travel Live Vlog, Mugumia Innocent, Mugalasi Joshua Mixed Farm, George Senkubuge, Maxuna, Gilbert Amanya, Bruno Insingoma, Jones Info, Senoga Enoch, Brigitte Kakai, Derek Black, abali mukamoli namwe mwasuze mutya muri bulungi Michael UG, Joseph Bali Kudembe, Patrick Leopold Farm, Chiza Plumbing TV, Ben Kako, Chamba de Hannington, George Bob. How are you, my people? Mwasuze bulungi, Henry Modern Juice, Steve, Paul Sema. Mwasuze bulungi bantu bange. Bara Muriebozi. Semanda Raymond. Kari, I'm off MTN now. MTN is proving to be very unreliable. Let's try Airtel and see what it does, because MTN eguro yabadde sumbwa nnyo ne Airtel yabadde sumbwa, but today let's just get off MTN and stay on Airtel to how it goes. If it goes very well, I don't know what to do for MTN and esigala ng'ekola waka. Yes, Chitumba Solomon, how much are the shock absorbers are Ipsam? Simtwalo nga 12 ku 15, and it depends what you're buying. Obogula Japan, obogula chipya. Ne kati nze shock motoka zonna zonna nteka mu mpya. Pair gibale mitwalo nga 15. So guys, I'm going to be sharing a story about yesterday. Yesterday we attempted to find a cow 4 million shillings. And I'm going to tell you how it went, and why it went the way it went. And I'm going to tell you why I actually went and inspected the cow 4 million shillings. You get. And from now on, I want to make this probably a little bit clearer for everyone so that you don't waste time. Emoroka is $1 million. $1 million. The minimum budget for you should be 7 million shillings, and I'm going to be telling you why. If you have 7 million shillings, rest assured you'll get a car. The cars that used to cost 5 million shillings now cost 7 million shillings, as a fact, if you want a good car. If you don't care, you just want a car, because there are those people. And as long as he has something that looks like a car and moves, they don't give a damn. The cars that used to cost 5 million shillings now cost 8 to 9 million shillings. That's how the market has shifted. And of course, I'm going to be sharing also the reasons why I think that is. Arthur, what's the price of Total over Shell? But in Kumitano, over Tano Chikumi, away what you. Okay, so yesterday we attempted to inspect a cow 4 million shillings, and the experience was I think by 4 p.m. I had almost given up, and by 5 p.m. I had understood. And the thing that happens when you're going to look for a car is that majority of the people don't give a damn who you are. Majority of the people don't care where you got your money from. Majority of the people don't care if you lose all your money. You get, eh? So majority of the people will, guys, double tap the screen to like, double tap. Kona screen ye mirundi ebiri. We kona screen ye mirundi ebiri. Let me hold it till next year March, because these days they up the prices. Guys, it's not about the time. It's not about the time. The prices are going to be higher in December, but they won't be lower than what they are in January. They won't. You just need to have the right budget. And I think I've been saying this. Remember, I've been telling you Ipsam zirimu million musanvu munana. I've been saying this for some time. And I was telling you, chibine zabanga ezesatu likati zatano. You get, ezabanga ezebiri ekitundu kati zanya. That's what happens. Chikumi, we saw Chikumi, and the dude was saying over 7 million, over 6.5. It looked okay on the outside, but I almost know how all these cars look now. I can imagine, because I've, like, all those budget cars, I've bought them. All of them, I've bought them. I've driven them. I know what the experience is going to be like. Now, why did I go and inspect a car of 4 million shillings. It wasn't really about the money this time, not the inspection money, no. It was a challenge. I just decided to take on the challenge. I've been talking to this gentleman for some time, for like almost a year, and he has been wanting to buy a car. At a certain time, he had, I think, 10 million. And then at a certain time, he had 12. And then at a certain time, he had 7. At a certain time, he had 8. And I think, you know, so that's what was happening with him. Until he said, you know what, I have 4 million shillings. I want to go get a car. Now, he doesn't live in Kampala. So for a long time, he has been telling me, brokers have sent me this car, they have sent me that car. And then there's a time he sent me a Sienta, I think, or it was what, 10 million. And I told him, if it exists and it's good, just pay, don't even ask me. You get? So he paid consultation fee like a year ago. And so yesterday but one. Okay, he texted me the day before, and I didn't make much of it because he has been texting me and we have been engaging for some time. So then the day before yesterday, he WhatsApped me. He sent me a voice note that he wants us to go and look at car options of 4 million shillings. And I sent back a voice note and told him, don't come to Kampala if you have 4 million shillings because you're not going to get a car. So, and he sent me another voice note and told me I'm already in Kampala, but I have an option that I want to look at. I've also been talking to brokers. So I said, okay. Then he had this Chivina that looked really nice. UAL, the Chivina looked really nice. And then he told me he was talking to other brokers. I said, fine. So I told him, okay, let's meet tomorrow. And that instant I said, let me take the challenge on. If I get a car of 4 million shillings, then I'll know we can still crack this thing. So we meet in the morning. He first went to renew his driving permit. So we meet in the morning and we start the journey. I think we started around 10. So they tell him at Bakuri there are cars there, and I tell him Bakuri because I know the place. You can never find a car of 4 million shillings in Bakuri. Even the ones of 10 are bad, most of them. So you tell me you're going to find a car of 4 million. So what happens is normally there are brokers that I've talked to in Bakuri, so they know now Arthur is calling. That's why when the day we were looking for the IST, I called like 3 brokers in Bakuri, and I want the IST 17 million shillings. Like they know when it's Arthur that is going to check the car, or inamua nchintu chirungi. So if they don't have anything nice, bangambirao Arthur tujja tewali. So with the IST, remember we failed to get a car. He told me IST jetulina nonji ya million ya 2. You get it? So if you have less than 20, tojja kuba tojja bisobola. So when this gentleman tells me Wabakuli wali moroka is a million, and I told him to tuta again because they can't be there. So then the next thing was he told me there's a broker who is somewhere because we're now and it's not matching at this time. So it's another place. So he tells me that broker aine moroka yamgame moroka ze million enya ina nyingi. And I say okay. And that place I had gone there, but they were very bad cars. You get it? So I knew. So when we picked the mechanic had the place and said, Arthur, he wants you to agenda you go. And it's been a long time. It's like we last went there when I was doing my second inspection. Yeah, the guy that disturbed us a lot, the one that made me limit inspection days. So we went even there because they had brokers that told him they have cars there. So we drive and go to that place, and so we went to this place, and this person like has over 30 cars. I think more than 30. He has more than 30 cars, but none of the cars is good. And when I say none of the cars is good, this is what I mean. He had 2 cars that were almost good. He had a Raum old model, which I am sure still was not good. He had the GDI Pajero, the small one. Those are the only cars that he had that were worth buying. All the other cars were trash. And when I say trash, I mean trash. Like, you know, cars that have rust everywhere. You know, cars that have been involved in very serious accidents and even the doors don't close. Those are the cars that were there. So we looked at all these cars and we take at, you know, how you look at a car that is not so bad, but bad, like really bad, but not so bad. And you say, and then he says, and then he points you to the cars of 4 million, and yeah, they are terrible. So that's what happened. So we look at all these cars, and even the person that the buyer himself said, "Hey, this guy, where do they get the good pictures that they send us?" He was like, "This dude sent me a Chibina on UAN, and he said it was 4 million shillings. Then this dude sent me another Chibina on UAS, then he said it was 4.5. All those cars are not there in their Chibanda." He said, "Okay." And initially, we were almost not going there. But then I say to myself, if you don't go to certain places, the person buying will think you just don't want to go there to look at his cars. So we went, and the cars were terrible. They were really terrible. So the next place we were going, we had to go to Nansana. Now, I'm saying Nansana because Nansana, there is only one car there of 4 million shillings. This I can tell you. There is only one car of 4 million shillings. So if you're looking for a car of 4 million shillings, I tell you it's in Nansana, Chebando, it's this car that I'm talking about. So still now, this car that we're talking about is the car that they sent to this dude that looked really nice. So we drive and go to Nansana deep in there, and so we reached this car in the parking lot. And remember yesterday it was raining, yeah? So I kept telling the people that were coming into my car, "Linya wali rabao, kalinya wali chiwempe, tolinya walala." You get, and it was successful because when people come in the gym, so so we go to this Chibina, and when you're getting out of the car looking at the Chibina from afar, it looks nice. As a matter of fact, as we were getting out of the car, the mechanic said, Arthur, you know, tumaze, but when you come close to the kanga ya chigo. Now, one common thing about all the cars of 4 million, 5 million, at least 95% of those cars have had very serious accidents. They have very serious damages in the roof. Not anywhere else, but the entire roof is trashed. Even the doors don't close. That's how serious the damages are in those cars. So this was really serious. And this car, what is with this Chibina was also with all the other 30 cars that I'm telling you about in the other place. They fell, Yakuba Sama, the doors don't close, so automatically this car leaks. You remember when I told you about a Primo that a lady, Christmas in my car campaign, a lady gave me a Primo to fix, and we could not fix it because it was really bad. It was leaking. Now, this Chibina, he wants 4 million shillings. And they had previously offered him 3.5, he refused. Looking at this Chibina, I would not even buy it 2 million shillings. Why? I value my money. Katino, I take it, you guys, with the experience I have, let me tell you this. A person that has money is more powerful than a person that has cars, or than a person that has a car. A person that has money is more powerful than a person that has a car. This I can tell you. Kati, after seeing that Chibina, which was terrible, now we get called to, where did we go? Around the Kumbuzi there, before you get to Kumbuzi. They tell us there is a visitor here, so we go see it. And of all the cars that I've seen, that we saw yesterday, the visitor had a body that was on original, the interior was on original, the engine started fine, but it smoked. And for me, when I looked at this Vista with our 4 million, I thought to myself, yeah, we should take this car, because almost everything was still intact. Unlike all the other cars that had trashed interiors, because most of the cars of 4 million shillings, the interior is trashed. So, no, all the cars of 4 million shillings, the interior is trashed. So, so what we do is we because the Vista wasn't even starting, the battery was out of power. So I bring my jump starter. Remember the jump starters I bought? So I kept one jump starter. We jump start the car and it starts fine. And the thing that this car did not do, ngategenda mu reverse. So the car could go forward but it could not reverse. So the gearbox was kaput. So the idea would have been to buy this car at like 3 million shillings, buy a gearbox of like 500,000 shillings, and then work on the other general things, yeah? But then also the suspension was terrible, the shocks were bad, so it was confusing. So we left that one. Now in the same area, there was a Corona Chibina, Corona 191. What's 190? 190. And that Corona looked nice. It was manual. It still was not in the best condition, I'm telling you. Now, the Corona, the Chibina I'm talking about was white. It was manual. It had all 4 tires very well. It still smoked. Now, majority of the cars that you're going to find in that price range, all of them will smoke. Now, for me, if I'm buying a car of 4 million shillings, as long as the smoke is not continuous, you can work on those engines. And the buyer had liked the car. For me, I find that at 4 million we would have taken this Chibina. But the owner wanted 5 million. Manyanga cars at 4 million shillings are rare. We were moving out of that place where the white Chibina was. People were entering to check it. So it means it might not survive this week because it's one of the good Chibinas we saw. So we leave the Chibina and they tell us of another Chibina wagure kucherisa. So we drive and go to Cherisa. And when we go to Cherisa, there was this car. It had been parked for a long time. Of all the engines I saw, it had the best engine, but it was smoking black, which means it doesn't burn fuel the right way. It has incomplete combustion, but that was no problem because it had the best engine I had. Okay, it had the best engine I had yesterday. And I listened to so many engines, but the engine we saw in that car was the best. The body was okay, but the interior was like rubbish pit. The side steps of the car were rusted. They had been repaired like over 5 times. So they were deplorable. There was no way this guy was going to be able to repair this car. And you know, and at this moment, guys, the person who was the buyer had started losing hope. And normally what happens when someone loses hope is that they want to buy anything that they can get their hands on. And I've seen this so many times. When we fail to get a car, people end up going back to buy the most available option for them, which is normally not a very good decision. So the car was trashed. So I told him, you see, this car has one of the best engines. It has sat here in this Uganda for some time. And if I didn't care about you, this is what I told him. If I didn't care about you, I would tell you to buy it. But I care about you and I care about my reputation. So what happens is, it's possible for you to get a car that is moving and it won't die on the road. But I've been in the situation where I had a car that moves, it goes everywhere. But I can, I'm not comfortable in that car. Why? A car that has a terrible interior, a car that has a trashed interior will never be a good car for you. Because go tuula muno mwovugira. Kate motoka mwotuula mwovugira bwembanga mulinga kasasiro. Tosobola kuba comfortable. Now, let me give you a background about this gentleman that is buying a car. His home is in Tungamu. His home is in Tungamu. And right now he works around Nakasongola. Now, all the cars we looked at, okay, apart from the other 30 cars, muchiri ekibanda kye twasose, tewaba demotoka esobola kutambula paka Nakasongola. But all the other cars that we looked at yesterday could move to Nakasongola, could move to Ntungamu. But what prompted me to discourage him from buying all these cars? At least the cars I've talked about so far. One, it's important that when someone is buying a car, as a person that is inspecting, I'm going to help him get a car that he will be comfortable driving. Yeah, a car that if he has his family in there, they'll be comfortable moving in. So obviously, when I help someone buy a car, I'm buying a car that I'll be comfortable taking. You get? So this car was really trashed. It was okay, but it was trashed. And because this gentleman was losing hope, he was asking me, and I told him because it wasn't nice. So from there, we are moving away, and then someone tells me there is another Chibina. Still, we drive it. The Chibina was in Kenya at a washing bay. We drive to that place. From afar, the Chibina looked nice. Moving close, and it was still trashed. And this person was saying 4,500,000 shillings. You need to go back. Then we are moving, and then someone says there is a Chikumi somewhere. But before we go to the Chikumi, we go look at the starlet. My God. And this starlet was something. The owner, I think, wanted over 6.5. But you know, I don't think I've seen a starlet with the perfect engine. It had just replaced an engine and gearbox. So they were perfect. The car had a perfect interior. Let me just say near perfect interior. Okay. The body had just been resprayed. 4 tires were all new. So literally it was a car that someone can drive at 6.5. Which again, eh? At 6.5, instead of buying a car that you're going to start repairing, you'd rather buy that car starlet. Or 7 million, eh? Now you want to buy a car of 7 million. That starlet is what you should be buying. That starlet is what we should be looking at. I've not seen any other car that is as good as that car starlet. Of course, it's a car. And 6.5, it's hard to get a car that is as good as that starlet. So when we reached it, we would have bought that starlet. So we left that starlet and we went to look at the Chikumi. Then we looked at a Chikumi which was in the parking there. And the Chikumi, everything checked out until the engine started. The engine was confusing. The mechanic tells me the sound is up in the cylinder head, probably because the oil pump doesn't pump properly, yeah? So the car doesn't get enough oil up there. And remember, the car is going to Nakasongola, then it will need to go to Ntungamo. So my concern is, what if this gentleman is driving and the engine blows? You get it? Because at times like that, Arthur is responsible. And then this person of the Chukumi, I got a million in H2, 4.5. But everything checked out. It had good tires. Okay, almost good tires. The body was okay. The interior was okay. You get the only trouble now, we didn't even get to drive it because the engine wasn't as good. So while we are there, and by now I'm talking, it's around 4 p.m. Now I'm supposed to go. I need to go. Normally I need to go by like 3:30, but it's 4 p.m. and I'm about to leave, and then they tell us about another Chibina, which is the 191, which is the super of the Chibina. It even has open roof. It was made 4-wheel drive. The interior is quite different from the normal Chibinas, yeah? So we go ahead and look at this car, and literally almost everything checks out with this car as well. Yeah? And they had told us 4.5. But then the owner comes and says, so we leave that place. Now, as we are leaving, I start descending to go, so that I let this gentleman go, and everyone goes their separate ways. And then they tell us of another Chibina. And then we go. Now, the Chibina we go to is almost perfect. Interior is intact. The body doesn't look that bad. It almost has all the tires, but still it's an accident car, and the roof is trashed. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Now, and at this time, I'm late. Now, as we are driving, the broker that is taking us around, who also happens to be a mechanic, tells us Naimwe, Nyachibina. And I think Oba is called who? It tells me no, a young sim vundu. Na akajisuubula eri kurangi tugende mu girabe. And I says, I won't come because you have been taking me to be very bad cars. And he says, no, so I send my mechanic to go and look at that car. So as we are getting to the main road, my mechanic calls me and says, Arthur, jangu mugenda gule no Chibina. Jangu. So I park and we walk there. It was being panel beating was being done. And surprisingly, For once, we saw a Chibina that was almost intact in the interior, and the body was being worked on, which was a very good thing. You get it? Kati ofuna moroka ngeri intact nga body egenda kuba mpya nga bagifuyidde and all that. But then he was saying, bali mujigolola sinasasula walanji kumumalayo, I'm selling it to you at 4.5 the way it is. So it means even before we drive the car to see what's wrong with it, what other things are wrong, so it means if this person sells us this car at 4.5 and then we give him we pay the extra 300,000 for the spray job, and then we see the other things, but it was intact, almost everything checked out at Munange. Then we offered him 4 million shillings for twekolera ebirala n'agaana. Now, majority of the cars we looked at were in the old logbook system. They were in the old where mulabe kakana we yaya kapichiko. So emotoka zino zonna zetwalabye za kadi nkadde. Now what happens when you buy a car that has an old log that is in the old system? You're going to use a minimum of 500,000 shillings to transfer this car to your names. It will entail having a court order, processed, advertising, and inspection of the car to make sure that it's the very car that you're trying to validate and transfer. That's what makes it really long as a process. It takes about a month or two, depending on the existing conditions at the URA or Ministry of Works or whatever, whoever works on that. So most of them were like that. Chikumi erija ngambi enye ekitundu yabadde yakali mpya eno kibina yasembeyo gye batugamba enye ekitundu nade sinagikibera na because I already knew the person that was buying a car was only buying a car of 4 million shillings, nothing more. And the moment this person said, I'm selling it to you at 4.5, you pay for spraying, and I thought to myself, why am I even trying to check this out, because it cannot be in our league. So the Tuvayo in the night, so my mechanic was telling me maybe he was good. I realized that the things you find in the market today are the things you'll find in the market tomorrow. And I've been telling people this all the time. Akatai tekasobola kuchuka in a space of 10 hours. Tekasobola kuchuka. If you find 100 vehicles that are terrible today, you'll probably, tomorrow, if you go, you'll probably find 110 vehicles that are wrong. You get a bad. So that's what happens when you're looking for cars. So inspection here we against abaine million nya million 5. Temutawana na kumpa sente za inspection muzisigaze, because you're going to waste a lot of time and then eventually also waste money. And I found that what happens right now normally happens when someone calls me and I tell them, wait, where's your sente? They call brokers and brokers tell them where. Now, under circumstances like that, if I tell you that you may not be able to get a car like that in that budget, total wanakumpa sales inspection, because chances are high that we are going to go to that car and it's bad. Now, when we go to that car and it's bad, then the next thing I have to do is to move with you to look for a car. Now, remember I already told you that the cars in that price range are bad, but remember that's the budget you have. Now, because it's the budget you have, we are going to move around, trying to look for cars that I already know don't exist. It's the thing that happened with the IST of 17, you remember. Now, I've constantly been telling you, if you're going to be buying an IST below 20 million shillings, and you want it good, yeah, it's going to be a US series. Now, and I've also told you the IST will not be good, will not be worth the money that you buy it. It's not worth the money. But because people want their cars, they'll obviously go and say, I think I can get it. Now, normally what that happens is the broker, broker and the car seller, they will never tell you the truth. A car seller If a car seller has a car on sale, even when it's bad, and you're offering to buy that car at the price that he knows he makes it, he will sell you the car. Whether it's good or bad for you, he will sell you the car. Now, then someone is going to tell me, Arthur, how about I go and buy that car that you're saying is bad? It's no problem. Guys, like I've always told you, it's possible for you to buy a bad car and you drive it. It's like, you know how someone can have cancer for more than someone can have cancer for more than 10 years. Cancer. The day they realize they have cancer, then they die or they start falling sick, then they lose a lot of weight and all that. So it's like how someone can have cancer for a very long time before they know. It's like how someone can have HIV and they don't know. The day they find out that they have HIV is the day they start growing thin. You get it? Why? Because it's too much to take. So you guys, you can buy cars. And normally this is what I say. This is the thing that happened with the IST. The one that the lady, when Abagamba tried them of Moroka. All the cars were there, but the cars were not good. Era kyekabadde one ku kibina yeggulu. Kibina zeggulu zetwala bine 10. Nti Moroka zaabaddewo. Ngera bwoba toli particular nga tofunanga ku bizibu bya Moroka nze nga byenfunyemu. Let me tell you, there is a time I bought a car. It was moving. Ngetambula bulungi. Nenjireeta. Ngetambula bulungi kateyina buzibu nga ne mukkubo tezina nti oba suspension mbi. So I brought it and randomly I was checking to see shoko namu ne bajjayo bino bushi totago bijinga bino tusobola ebikopo bifu obunege bufu tugeno mayizange emitwalo 5 gagudde ne bazaamu ngendo vuga munga atema bega kati wakubagana ne bajjayo ne bakolayo ebyo na ne mbikola ngendo malirizanga munda mulabika bubi nga munda toyina kyosobola kukoleramu. Remember, you're going to be moving with your family in this car. You're going to be moving here with your clients in this car. Okitegera emmoroka ngeganye ngero gitulako ebweru nga nawo tewateredde ogenda tuna ku mipiira nga najo gibanja ogenda okwesanga ng'emmoroka eno wagigula layisi because I bought that chimney I think 3 million flat. Kati ogenda okwesanga nga sente zogenda okwongera ng'ate era okiraba teri future nga even if you add that money, you invest that money in that car, it still won't get to a level that you want your car to be at. And that's normally something that happens with those cars. Now, there are people that have been having budget of 15, 16. And normally when you call me, I tell you, SC. Then they will ask me, how much does it take for me to fix the SC? And then I'll tell you, the SC has no definite cost. Why? If it's just refilling, you can refill for like 60K. But what if it's not just refilling? You go and you think it's going to be just refilling, and then they refill, it leaks. They refill, it leaks. Then you figure out that, oh, maybe I need to put the AC pump. Then you take a AC pump, you're going to take a fridge in what day. Ateka mu fridge ntateka kyakatimba nakoka lwadde agira ateka tizineseke ziisa agira ateka tikifani kyafudde. You get ogenda okwesanga nga you have invested about 2 million shillings in the AC. That's why normally when we are buying a car that doesn't have a functioning AC, I ask the person, are you the kind of person that uses AC? If they are not the person that uses the kind of person that uses AC all the time, I tell you, leave the AC alone. You get and Arthur, if he wants, let him get 1 other million and he goes with it. But ayongereko atera ajja kuongeramu walai. The last chibina we saw yabadde kurangi. Yabadde nungi ate yo twagisanze kurangi tegeza the body will be looking okay. The interior was definitely the best interior we have seen. And then it did not have accident history like the other cars. Zinemoroka endala zonna amabati nga mabi. Okitegeera. Arthur, aba 4 million obagobe nga ate mission it's driving. Anti kat Henry modern Jews. The mission is driving, but I don't want to have a generation of frustrated drivers. You know, there is one thing with you having a car, you drive every day, then you don't have peace. You've seen that. It's important that we get people to drive when they have peace. Let me give you another example. With 4 million shillings, you cannot get a chibina, but with 8 million shillings, yeah, you can get a Mark II Musota. That is nice. Nga togenda kanika ng'ebintu byogenda okukola bye biri nomu kukyusa mipiira kukyusa ndabirwamu eyatise and all those things. So what would be the ideal thing? That's why I'm saying your minimum budget should be 7. Because with 7, you can play around with the cars that would ideally cost 8 or 9. Nobaga nyina musanvu olumukama nakwatako ng'oli emmoroka gy'abadde atunda omwenda abuliddwa gimu agigula n'agala kali mu mpu omusanvu. Okitegeera. So the guy had 4.5 million. Then he had to subtract 450, the pre-purchase inspection. I hope teyanyize. So Nathan, this is what normally I tell people. The reason why for you to talk to me, you pay 50,000 shillings is for you to understand the implications of working with me. So if you pay 50,000 shillings to talk to me, and then that's when you tell me about the car you want to buy and all these things and all that, then I tell you what might happen. So if you tell me, Arthur, I want to buy a car of 10 million, this is the car I want, and I want to do inspection, then I'll tell you, you can't get that car. So that, and then I also warn you, we can go there and we don't get a car. You get? So I warn you. And remember this gentleman, when he texted WhatsApp to me, I told him, don't come to Kampala because you won't get a car of 4 million shillings. You get? But I think brokers are one of the biggest problems because they will tell you that the cars are there. There's a broker in Bakuli that was telling him, Janguan emoroka weziri. Emoroka weziri. Ne wa Bakuli tell him motoka yanya. Neze kumezi mumbi. Ezi singa. Actually, eze kumizo nambi. You get? I'm also an experienced patient about motors. Kubanga. Zikola kemikola ateziru miemitwe. Thank you, Raymond. So guys, the one thing right now, the thing I would tell this, because he cannot go to 5 million. Because for him to take this chibina that is there, he needs 5 million. Of course, not right away, because the car is still in the paint shop. So he would ideally pay for the car, nagenda na anonya sente. But there is a downside. That's the trouble. So normally, what I would tell this gentleman now, but let me tell you one thing. And he's watching, by the way. I saw him. He's watching. Twabade no mwami mu motoka nga imoroko rozibu zibiganye. Ne mugambo manchi ogenda okolo ogenda kuddayo tuteke sente ezo. Nga ali ati. Nimubuuza chichi. Nangamba Arthur, ngenda kuddayo ne sente. Ngenda kuddayo ne sente. Ne mugamba sente kirungi ozina. You know, you guys, a person that has money is more powerful than a person that has a car. And then I asked him, you guy, what if you get a car that is terrible? I am sure $1 million. And that's not the place where you want to go. You would hate Arthur. It's better you lose the inspection money, 450k, than losing all the other money. You get it? But it's terrible, but I really took on the challenge. Arthur, I'm sure if you go back to that mechanic, he will tell you that it is sold out, over he will tell you he wants minimum 5. No, tayinza kwekyusa. Nchimanyi baba yagambye ayagala million 4 n'ekitundu, ayagala ndwadde yana tumwena million 4 tutukose 500,000 tufuwe moroko nagende, because let me tell you one thing about Chibina, guys. Chibina is one car that you can drive without oil from here to Mbarara. But when I looked at the markets, I realized Chikumi is better than Chibina if you find Chikumi. But Chikumis are not common. The brokers have a saying, if the buyer has 4 million shillings, let him come to Jamuporota, ayongereko wachiri tumubanje. Batomeza, brokers batomeza, guys. Kubanga, bakuli teri motoka yanya, teri! You guys, tutambudenge wabakuli yonga tunonye moroka ezomunana ngoro broker yagambi omusajja jangu jeri. Mugendo tukayamulagaza 15. Mission is to drive, but not driving chiyenje ka. Ene modern juice chiyenje nchivuga nenga chirungi. Iratwa ategwe, guys, okumanya yesterday was bad. Olaba ntuka ekisera ninna muzara wu moldi modo. Nize nena muzara umold modo ne mugara umold modo budget batutwatu wemeka nese bonga naye yagara munana emmoroka zaatabuse guys emmoroka zaatabuse nzikirabangako emmoroka ze twagulanga million 3 kati olaba that new starlet the starlet I'm telling you the one that the guy is selling 6.5 those are the starlets we used to buy at 4 nga kapya nnyo nga akwegaye n'okwegayira mpa bambi twala ositegeere but you see this starlet guy nga yematira n'okwematira n'akoleeza naye mugale emmoroka yange n'agenda naddeeri ntumugamba ku mukaga ekitundu lwaki tetukuwadde million 5 kuweze tanaka akamotoka ko kabadde kapya era bwe twabadde tukalambula nagambye ono omusajja yabadde agula muga kana akamotoka bokagula ino kafundira parking kuba bajja kabba usegira wage guy nagamba atusalirako emitwalo 10 Primo Super 10 million najifuna ngeri mumbe tojja funa Primo Super sozi okujjako nga Primo Super jofuna eringa ku UAB. So I would ideally recommend if you want a Primo Super, if you really must have a Primo Super, 13 million shillings or 12 million shillings is what you should be looking at. So anyway, guys, first off, if you have 4 million shillings, mumutima mulungi omuntu alina million 4, nze nkimanyi you will go and buy those cars still. Kuba gojja gamba atayagaliza bichi. But if you have 4 or 5 million shillings, get that money. Goba toyina kyazikozesa zimpenze nzizazisi tweweeyo omwaka gumu. You guys can invest your money in like their unit trusts. You can put unit trusts zikuwa 10% per annum. Kwata sente zo ziteeka mu unit trusts oba genda ogule government bonds bwobanga sente otya okuzikwatako go put your money somewhere. 4 million 5 million shillings atali kumuna mwaka mujjewo. So guys, atha eno jova bayitayo batya kumacha ngabi mbamba buziga olaba ne bajaji enkadde baziseera era Vitz versus Starlet, which is better to buy. It depends on what your budget is. The price, the money that buys the Starlet doesn't buy Vitz. Like that Starlet I've told you of 6.5, it's better that it's way better than Vitz of 10. So the money that buys the Starlet doesn't buy Vitz. Dero, tomorrow is question Friday. Let's ask the questions tomorrow. Guys, double tap the screen. You're 8 and 9. Guys, double tap the screen. Double tapping. Tata. The like will come. I reached time. I don't want to get near to someone talking good about them. Ate osangwenga you green about cars. Well, guys, if you're going to buy a car, be very careful. Nebo no bato tute ata find someone that is objective. Get someone that is objective that will tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it. Get someone that has something to lose. Ochitegera. You should thank you for saving him. I know he really wants to drive and I know the feeling, but let him first relax and we'll get something good. But you put a limit of the money. Someone should have to book for an inspection, Mr. Arthur. Dan, this guy paid for inspection. Definitely. So the 50,000 you guys send me in the beginning is to chat with me. For me to give you some time to ogere ku motoka zo tulabe oba you can definitely buy a car. And that saves you a lot of things. That's why when someone doesn't want to pay for consultation, you can send me 100 messages, I will not reply. You get it until you put money there, because I'm as Magali, my days are busy. Some days go very fast. Even when I don't have inspections, my days are terrible. Like now, what time is it? It's 8:30. You get it? Right now, after now, I have like 3 hours. They are already off of my day. After those 3 hours, I think I have another 2 hours that are already off. Those are 7 hours already. Kati 1 hour, gateko 3, already 6 hours are off of my day. And so the days are terrible. So there is no way I'm going to give someone time that does not value that my time is worth something. Verosa is the same as the Mark II Musota Tabula. The Verosa is the same as the Mark II Musota, Mark II Grand. Just buy. It's a very good alternative. So, and also commercial vehicles, ngenda kuongeza inspection ya commercial vehicles, because commercial vehicles take a lot more than just because emotoka ya commercial begera tambula nnyo. The last Chigege we bought, nateekamu ku ssente zange. Nagenza okukibala abalamu nga nateekamu ku ssente zange, and that's somewhere I want to go again. So if you're going to buy a commercial vehicle, oba ya Uber, oba ya as long as you declare it's commercial, it's going to cost you a little bit more. I'm still thinking about what makes a Vitz RSB to be more powerful to the extent of racing the Subaru? It cannot race a Subaru. Guys, let no one lie to you that the Vitz RS can race a Subaru. It cannot. It cannot. You cannot tell me that a car of 1.5 liters can race a Subaru of 2 liters. Okujako, nga the car of 2 liters has a faulty engine, faulty gearbox, or a faulty driver. There is no way a Vitz can race a Subaru tebabalimba. Unless if the Vitz is turbocharged, 1.5 liters and turbocharged, it can try. But there is no way. Can I get a Karibo 4 to 5 million, Nathan? Nathan, guys, your minimum budget should be 7 million. If you get 1 or 5, then it's good. But don't go to the market with the mindset of, I have 5 million. I saw the Caribs. Where we went and saw about 30 vehicles. Those cars were there, Karibu, G-Touring. They are terrible. They are terrible. Guys, from now on, unless you have 7 million shillings, don't engage me with inspection. Kubanga, sagaranze kunchawa. I don't want you to buy a car, ekufireko mukubo, onyige. Oraba neza 7. Nazo zimanyo kubera ne faults za wiring. Eza 7. Zimanyo kubuza abuza amanyo ronga papa ofu. Osegera, kati imagine a car of 4. Emorokeze zisinga munda mvundu. My God. I don't know how people keep cars. Most of the cars we looked at zitonya. Gogendo kulaba wano wansinga wajjudde amazi. You can imagine someone is inspecting atambulide mu motoka ya Arthur mu bulungi bweriko. Nagule motoka deye we mu motoka envundu. That's something I cannot allow. Okitegeera. So guys, when you come to do inspection with Arthur, yes, there is a possibility you'll go home without a car. Ekyobera ngo okimanyi. And Arthur does not give a day 2. There is no day 2. Inspection money is valid for 1 day, which is why you should first pay consultation and we engage so that I tell you if it's possible to get a car in that price range. Now, one way for you to mitigate the losses and to not lose the inspection money is to just go to the field and buy a car on your own. Which is right? But still go with the mechanic. But I've also realized that a mechanic will let you buy a car. Me, I saw it yesterday. Mechanic asobola okuleka ogule. Muzanya no kuzanya. Muzanya. Nze nyina we natuuse. Mechanic asobola okuleka ogule ekintu ogende. Anti oyagala gula ogende. Guys, empathy is very limited in this country of ours. People don't think about you. Takulowoozaako. Ayagala akola omulimu gwogukokoleki. Ogende ayagala ono yanonye moroka ayagala moroka yetamanyendeze. There is a broker gwe twasoseeko bali abayine moroka 30 ezennyanya. Yagambye eze moroka naawe simbi era temubulamu emoroka ye million nya yingine ejja kuba ekyakalagiye ejja batekyusa bulungi mundanga wa chafu nga bodi niye boyine motoka. Like guys, it's not simply like me. Kanza sikyasobola Tekino, sikyasobola Infinix ku mirimu gye nkola. Kati nze wendi sikyali ku level ekwata bukwasi phone. Nze level wendi kati bwemba ngenda okugula essimu nsooka ginoonyerezaako erina processor yenkana kya camera quality eri etya ebye RAM ali etya. Okitegeera, there are so many things I look at. Kati waliwo abantu abamu nga bagula emmotoka essimu tamanya na kumanya oba ebuguma. Nze nagula fani eri wano because essimu yange eringa mining crypto. Okitegeera. So when I've been through those things. Nze nalinguzeeko ku nagulako emmotoka ya 2 ekitundu eri Mark II yogubina. I've told you about that. I think I have images. I'll share the images of that Mark II. Now when I bought that Mark II nagenda ne makanika. Era twamala weeks nga 3 nga tetwogera na makanika oyo. Emugamba nontomeza. Ate no kyewuunyisa. Ebiseera ebisinga makanika ajja kwencouraging ogula emmotoka nga alina akasente ke bamusuubizza. Like you guys, I will tell you, for example, when we went to look for the IST, the guy that was selling the IST to this lady, who was a friend of hers, yazza mechanic ebbali n'amugamba Gogenda kulya wange iso omulimu. Guys, there is no place where we have gone to buy a car and the car is good. Ne batuze bali. Techibangayo. Nga oli amanye moroka ye nnungi ate makaniko obozza wache bali. Obozza wache bali. But the moment a seller starts talking to the mechanic, and that's why normally I am there. That's why I'm there. To make sure that if the mechanic is losing his way, I am there to make sure that doesn't get to you. Because I realize abantu abagenda bwe mukusasula inspection, omuntu agenda okukola inspection, oba omuwadde oba osazeewo nti kati mu kino ekintu gwategeera. So if you go with someone ne bamuwa emitwalo 10, nze yo maka tu yogubina ogiraba. Natuka ne mubuuza makaniko oyo gwena. Namugoba. Natuka ne mubuuza na ye. Emmoto kubanga tuba tuvaayo nno. Ne muwulira nga ali ku simu. Kati batuwadde mmeka. Naye yali ayogera mpola ng'amanyi siwulira. You know how you're driving a car that is really old? Ngekubagana nnyo kati ye nalowooza siwulira. Bamuwa emitwalo aga. Millions zange 2.5. Of course emmotoka eyo teyansala nnyo kuba nagigula 2.5. Nenjiteekamu emitwalo 5 okugifuuwa. Wansi saagikanika. Naye yakutuka ball joint yoka yali ya mitwalo 10. So basically emmotoka eyo nagisamu emiliyoni nga 3 n'emitwalo nga 7. And I sold it at 3 million. I sold it 3.2 and I gave the broker 200,000. So nensala emitwalo 7. Now, there are people, and one of the reasons why I sold it, because it was unrepairable in the interior. Guys, interior of the car is very important. The interior of your car is what sets the sanity. Like when you're driving your car and the interior is terrible, you'll also have a terrible mindset. Yesterday after inspection, the car was dirty. When I picked my boys from school, the first thing Abban said, "Oh, Daddy, this car is very dirty." What's the right? The moment the interior of your car is trashed, your mind is going to be almost trashed. So the interior of the car, eri intact. What's the Geri intact. The interiors of cars twatusenga dopano mvundu eno bagikozemu eritewera ezema begate ziriiko. Those are the cars of 4 million. Okitegera. Now, peace of mind. There are cars we have inspected even in the range of 20 million. Ngemmotoka enywa oil. Naye nga gwe you cannot know gwe ng'omuntu. Ngemmotoka shock onfu. Naye nga shock says obufu bwazo osobola zivuga emyaka 2 gwe nga tofuddeeyo. Especially the people that live near town. Now, I've seen people who are dying to buy a car nga ye kyafa kuvuga mmotoka. Kati ng'ogenda gula emmotoka eyo miliyoni 18 nga shock zonna nfu, yingini enywa oil ogivugeyo omwaka gumu, yingini ebe nga tekyaddangu, kati ng'olina ogula yingini ya miliyoni 2.5. Gwe yeewala ogula emmotoka ya miliyoni 2 ennungi, kati at that time ogule yingini ya 2.5. Ziyingidde 2. Bw'oba oteekamu yingini olwo bush bazirabe nti ndwadde, mounting bazirabe nti ndwadde, oyingidde miliyoni 2.1. Shock oziteekemu. Anti olumala okukola emmotoka nga omanyi bamakanika beeyogeza. Emmotoka eno tugikoze namu naye laba tefaanana bulungi, tugifuuwe nga bakkuba akakadde. Okitegeere okukakala emmotoka eyingidde miliyoni 2.3. And by that time tojjuke nakujjukira nti Arthur yakikubaddako n'akugamba ezo miliyoni 17 z'oyina, lwaki tetugenze ne batukola emmotoka mu bondi emiliyoni 2.5 oba 2.6. You get it? Because emmotoka y'emiliyoni 2.6 bugende 17 bagikuwola. Naye gwe toyagala bbanja. Kati ogenda okukiwala emmotoka gy'ovuga ogitaddemu emiliyoni 2.3. No one can even give you 20. Bakuwaze wagigula 18. Kuba olumala okugifuuwa oti omaze ogikola yingini nga bagamba naye kati emmotoka empya eno lwaki tetugikola SC nga batandika okukebera SC ng'akulya 7. Ebintu by'emmotoka bino nze gwe kyoba omanya tewali kyesi kyovulaba when we buy car nga terina SC nkugamba SC waali mwesonyiye. Yes, because SC anti olunako ebiseera ebimu you will fix the SC then the engine dies. I've seen that before. Me nayina dudu ng'emmotoka nnungi terina buzibu lwe nakola SC yingini neekuba. I'm telling you. So I've done all these things, and normally when I inspect cars for people, this is the one thing I'm trying to mitigate. And then the one thing I realize with buying cars, most of the people that you're going to go buy cars with are out to make sure you buy a car. Most of the stakeholders that are involved in the process of you buying a car benefit a lot from you buying a car. The mechanic is going to be your mechanic when you buy a car. So he benefits a lot. The goal is to make sure you buy a car so that he gets another customer. The broker only makes money when he makes a sale. So he's going to make sure you buy. The car seller has stock. He needs to sell his car. So once you're dealing with only these three people, you're bound to make mistakes. Now, if a broker and a mechanic and a car seller come together, bagenda kugabana, because the broker, the mechanic and the car seller will sit down and say, because tutya tuyiso omulimu. Which is why normally a third party is important. If you have an uncle of yours, if you have and me, let me tell you, even relatives can make you go. Nze kaporo kange kalike nabagamba akankola kemikolo. I sold it to a guy who came with his brother. His brother pulled me aside and he said, I want 300,000 shillings. Is it a good car? I said, yeah, it's a Golf. He said 300. Are you giving me the money? I said, yeah. He said, let's go to the bank. Then he was the one talking to his brother, telling him how good this car was. That's one case. The second case, you remember the person I told you about who bought a Spacio new model when there was a better fielder? That person told me, he's the one that brought me, not the buyer. So which is why when the buyer wasn't listening to me, I cared less. He told me point blank, he told me, Arthur, tugenda kugula Spacio eri natadde yakakadde kange. So when we found the fielder, I told him, gendo yogere ne bana abatunda fielder. Nabo bakuteremu akakadde kuba ne moroka eri better than the Spacio. From that time when namugambe ekyo teyaddamu kwogera nange. Natandika gamba oli emoroka eno erimu ekigo. Then we went and bought the Spacio. The Spacio wasn't bad, but it was a bad deal. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You know, there are cars you're buying, it's a bad deal. The fielder was a better deal. You get, but we went ahead and bought a Spacio. So these are, and of course I told you about the instance of someone we bought a car with, and then the brother had a mechanic who pronounced the gearbox dead when the gearbox was actually okay. And the reason why they did that, they wanted to get money out of this person. Gearbox until the mechanic I gave them said, mulete moroka eyo nze gearbox ngenda gitereza butereza. Bwetaterera temunsasula. Neterera. So sometimes you need to understand, you need to get people that are not vested in funa ebisaide bisinga abasajja abakuru bamanyi okubeera very objective. If you can get an old man, those men of like 60 years, make sure that old man is not in the car business. Aina kubanga muntu obanga akolanga mu bank eyo obanga akola ki, aina kubanga tali mbintu bya moroka naye someone that is objective, someone that you can put aside n'omugamba naye kakati muzeeyi emoroka eno wogira boti, are we making a good decision? And then as you have that muzeeyi, also take a mechanic. So it's the muzeeyi and you that will be questioning the mechanic. Muzeeyi amugaye kakati emoroka eno ekola etya eri biki. Now let me tell you, naba basajja abakulu mbalaba. I have a relative of mine, he has been driving for more than 50 years. 40 years. He has been driving for more than 40 years. Bamutomeza. Sina kumutomeza kuka n'okumubba ne bamubba. Ne bamuguze moroka yali ino okuba million 15 ne bagimuguze million 3. Kati sure deal. Broke yali mulimu alaika kworo yagula yaka motoka. You get. So one thing you need to understand is nange natomera recently nagando sasula pre-purchase inspection ya camera nengula camera ya million emu kitundu nekola yo week emu nefa. It blacked out. So me, I don't take pre-purchase inspection for the camera that we bought. Jitwagula yali odonkadde nga nkadde kati ngenda okogana n'omuntu ya inspecting ya camera nengamba eyo camera je wagula zine ebizubi ya overheating. It overheats and sometimes it will overheat netako. Kati tegeza segana nagenda n'ono omuntu ne muwa sente ze namu kuba lulyo banamu emitwalo 10. Sengana nagenda naye kweno camera tetwali jiguze. I would have saved Micah 1.5. Now camera chili out tetuna chetu chikozesa. So anyway, but what I'm saying is, you don't have to go with me for inspection, but if you can pay me for consultation, pay me for consultation. I give you a perspective that is in the market. Because majority of the people that are in this sector, the sellers, the brokers, the mechanics, are vested. They have something to benefit when you buy. Get someone that has nothing to benefit when you buy. Nenga amanyi kubye motoka. Okitegeera? Omuntu atalina kyafuna mu bwogula. Ye muntu asobola okuwa amagezi nti gula oba togula, and listen to them. I wish all the times I made mistakes buying cars, I had someone that would tell me things that I tell you. Like point blank, ngomuntu akutumya nakugamba omanyi zaayo sente zo. Okitegeera, I've told people, I wish there was someone that would tell me that thing. Okitegeera, but abantu nze nakulaba ntya kirabika. Anyway, I think I started working at a very young age, and that intimidates people sometimes. So people were quite intimidated. No one would ever tell me the truth. Nze ne judge wange yenyini yagamba. Bamugamba nga naye omwana onulwaki tomuwabula. At that time I did not know what they meant. I know what they meant. And my grandmother would tell them, "Auli wa sente ze mumuleke." Okitegeera, eh? So I think I've been in a situation where people never tell. Bakuleka nokola gwamanye ebiddako. And it's a very bad position to be. And by the way, guys, woberanga mu environment nga buli muntu tagamba mazima. Vaawo. You need to be in an environment where people tell you, Arthur, ekyo kyokoze kikyamu. Which is why I like the YouTube channel here. In the YouTube channel, you guys would actually come out and say, Jekali wa ye. Jeke muntu ajja n'ayogera, Arthur awolimbye, Arthur bye wabitugamba dda. Arthur, you get, I like to surround myself with people that would tell me. And there are people that actually come to my WhatsApp inbox. Arthur kati ekyo kireke. Arthur wano wali ise wali. That's the thing I like about this YouTube channel, is that you guys will actually come out and say, Arthur, this is wrong. And don't stop telling me when things are not going right. It's a very good thing. Right? So we all need people that would actually come out and tell you when you're making a decision. So this gentleman is actually watching. Sente zuziteleke. Kubaka akati emoroka gitwalabye ezire bbiri, the kikumi we saw at 4.5. Emoroka eyo ekyasobola okuba yingi ninga ogenda nakasongola obanga tugenda entuŋŋamu. And at that time emoroka eyo bw'eneekuba ogenda kuba weetaagisa okufulumya akakadde. Na bw'oba tolinawo olina akakadde nga wakati kakakola yingi ni mbwangu, emoroka eri 10 twali nze in my opinion twali girese. Kibina yo nyiniyo yo kibina definitely checks out. Na nyiniyo ayagala 4.5. Then osasula ez'okufuwa emoroka eyo kitegeeza ogenda kugwera mu $5,000,000 sure deal, which is out of our budget. So me, what I would recommend is to keep the money. And guys, for the people that have come money nga zikutawanya nga tomanyi kyazikolera, genda ozigulemu bonds oteekeyo omwaka mulamba ogambe nti million zange 5 zijja kunkolera at least 5 by the end of the year. Bw'oba tolina business ya kuzikolamu, bw'oba olina business gy'osobola okwongeramu capital, zikwata osooka ozongere mu capital. Me, that's what I do. Nze nsobola obeerawo nga sirina sente naye nga mmanyi I've invested here. Next month nyinza okujja ya 5. Okitegeera n'oluddako nzije ya 5. So that's the one thing you could do with your money. Especially, and guys, when I say 7 million is minimum, it doesn't mean that the cars of 7 million will be perfect. Zijja kuba emoroka $1,000,000 omusanvu okujjako ng'oguze specifically the cars I'm telling you to. Okitegeera, right? Because with 7 million, guys, if you're going to look for a car etagenda kukusumbwanya ejja kuba Mark II Musota. Yes, ejja kuba Mark II Musota. Owamotoka obo 10 zetaaga kugula nga toweza $1,700,000. Bw'oba oweza $1,700,000, Mark II Musota ye motoka gyendaba gy'ogenda ogula eneeme kukusumbwa kuba tefa nnyo wansi. So there are chances that wansi tewajja kubaayo byakukanika. Lwakuba nti zo bolo joint olina ozigula. Mark II Musota ate yingini ya beams temala gafa. Ate when you're buying a Mark II Musota, buy Mark II Musota with beams engine. $1,700,000. See, yo no mwe mulowooza. Zino endala zonna zonna zijja kufa ge mazima. Zifa nnyo wansi awo. Okitegeera ate kati endala zinaliga nti zifa zigule 7 teziri worth it. Kibina teri worth $1,700,000. 10 teri worth $1,700,000. Okujja kali ka study ticket twalabye tetwakavuzeemu naye kabadde intact. Engine mpya, like mpya, gearbox mpya. Chemanyi SC yetakola. But I'm thinking with that new engine, you can literally work on the SC. So yesterday, literally the only car I saw that is very worth the money was the car we bought that we saw that was 6.5, which was a Starlet. I think a number yako na yo yabadde nkade number sijukiro banda jitunudde nako. But it's a UA, some old number plate. But the car, it was sprayed, almost new tires, new engine, new gearbox. So that's the thing that happens with cars, and that's why I've stamped it, guys. Teri moroka ya nnya nnungi. Neye tano yenyine ejja kuba nnungi mu. Okitegeera. Bro, it was happened to me. I buy Toyota Field 23.5 and the end it's 31, gearbox and mounting emipiira, steering rack, battery. Aha, kati ekyo mukijjukira kye nabagamba nti Fielder eya milioni 23 webanga 29 tejja kuba nnungi. Nti omuntu alina milioni 23 kati olaba kizae, if you had gotten that 23 million ne tuzitwala mu bondi ne bakuwola Fielder. Ontegeera kati Fielder empya mu bondi eri mu milioni nga 36, olaba milioni eza 3 ze wateeka mu eyo Fielder enkadde. Okimanyi senga kati Fielder eri ate abayindi tebabanja bubi. There is a person we bought a Fielder with from the bond, bagituguze milioni 35 at that time. Ne bagituwola twawayo milioni 2. Bwe milioni eza 2 yakagimala ekyo katwagigula mu 2023 awo nga atandi kuba 22 nga gwako. Okisegeera but yakagimalayo. Abadde ateekangayo buli lwafuna niye yagimazeeyo. Tebamubanja yagula emmoroka nga mpya, yasooka n'avuga omwaka mulamba nga takanika. Agenda tukogikanika n'emulya milioni 2 kuba yali takola maintenance. Arthur, with you, I have no choice on cars, but my budget is around 16 and the engine not beyond 1.5 and not 1 liter. But any type as long as it's a good car. 16 million is not a bad budget. 16 million you can get a very good IST. Start away on the number. 16 million, 16 million you can get a Raum or new model. 16 million you can get a Space Java Kurukumurunana Katsugare Raum. 16 million you can get even Alex, even Ranix. Start away on the number. 16 million you can get a Corolla like the other one, like mine. Yeah. Njagala ogamba siyenta naye maama siyenta yinza oba ngambi naye ezo mmotoka zenjogedde ku 16 million oba oyisitedde okitegeera. After I'm new here, I have a budget of 12 million. Which car would be worth my money? Gamers tag come tomorrow. If you're gonna be damu encha byonna guys. All questions that I've not answered today, I will answer it. All the questions I've not answered today, I'll answer them tomorrow. Henry Modern Juice maka tu sochi muri je yakuluma. Eyo maka tu eyo tefa. Maka tu musota. Muro kazidi munsi na maka tu musota tefa. Ne maka tu grandi tefa. Ne maka tu musota iri mu milioni 7. Maka tu grandi jibalire milioni 10. Kale yinzo okukamba otamula ne milioni zo 10 yinzo jifuna ku mwenda mukama bwakwata kungate weronze nyo 8 naye ngo jibalira milioni 10 to be safe. Ne Alteza nayo nungi. Naye kati Alteza nungi ejja kuba milioni 10. Ne Alteza enywamu ku mafuta. Good morning Mr. Commentator UGVIP. Tade Samuel bane guys kamba siwe 1 hour yafe yawezedda. That is what I tell people. If you don't do consultation, I can't help you open a new business. Exactly. Most sin cars we are Chibina as no Ipsam na Arthur to buy Chibina on a low price and buying Primo old model on a high price. I think almost they do this. Buy a Primo. Primos are much better intact wise. Na yate Primo eja buy a million nga musavu munana. Ostegire, right? Hey, Joshua, 16 million, where are you going to get the practice from? Don't come. Leave me alone. I don't want to move the entire day moving aimless. 16 million, where are you going to get the practice from? Guys, where are you going to practice the last? Okay. If you don't care about condition, you will get a practice at 16. But then I'm not going to be part of that thing. Right? Because guys, you need to understand that guys, kamba sibule nebozi tujitwale masse nchaka ngene kole ku mirimu gy'abakama bangi. Mwe bali kubeera ku broadcast katandika okusibula. Comment zesisomye ngenda zisomanga bwe nsibula. But all in all guys, if you're going to buy a car, your minimum budget should be 7 million. There is no maximum, definitely, depending on the car you want. And now at 7 million shillings, I've already given you an option of a car that I know that you will buy ngate jja kusumbwa ebera mark to musota ya 6,200. Kuba naligambira for old model nayo teriyo. Tuongeleza ogere ku modoka enchaba guy Muyombya Macris Da Vinci tusime Eddie Mudope Joshua Triple M Bashir Katumba Hamidu Travel Live Vlog Mukumya Innocent Mgalasi Joshua Mix Farm George Senkubuge Max Suna Gilbert Amanya Bruno Isingoma Jones Info Senoga Enoch Brigitte Kakai Derek Black Mikel UG Joseph Bali Kudembe Patrick Reporter Farm Chiza Plumbing TV Ben Kako Jamba de Hannington George Bob and Modern Juice Steve Paul Sema Bara Moriebuzi, Semanda Raymond, Tumuhimbise Ivan Jr., Nampija Juliet, Alexis Sony, Chris Fitness Luburwa, Kenneth Murungi, Chitumba Solomon, Gilbert, guys, double tap the screen again. Stuart Maxwell, Mola Meek, Jay Sekajar, Ronald Muchwa, Ingenia Joshua plus 256, Arinaitwe Kevin, Musa Alwa Derek, Nathan 256, Akiram, Movie Shots, Ngabi the FX Trader, Tablas Plumbing Services, Dumba Collins, Dan Yesingoma. Better you put a limit on the money. Oh, okay, yeah. Omni Wandiambi, Nsereko Starch, Katende Umar, Walugembe William. Sibamaze mulowooza Kisembo Josie, Sozi Ronald Kasozi, Walugembe William, Dero, Proma Creations, Gamers Tag, Eugene, Tale Samuel, White Walker. Is it normal for your car to vibrate when your AC is on? It depends on what engine you have. If you want 1cc, 1 liter vehicle, then it's definitely okay. But check your mountings. The segment, how much is inspection? Inspection fee, guys, is 450,000 shillings. The 450,000 shillings covers only 1 day of inspection in the Kampala CBD. We look at all the cars that are available that day. But then it does, if whether you get the car or not, it doesn't go to the next day. RAV4 old model ya milioni mwenda kwambuka waggulu. Neyo mwenda ebera ya kunoonya nnyo. Muloza sibamaze Jonathan Semuwanga, Amina. Abali Mukamoli, thank you very much. Dumba Swaibu, I want a succeed of 16 million shilling. It won't be good. Zanders, Amina, Atwi Juker, Deacons. I want to know SI, kindly tell me the price. I don't know the current price in the market, but the old Nkadijaba million inga abidi mu mukaga. Guys, I wish a very lovely day. Tomorrow will be question Friday. Bibuzo venabe sizemo njakubiddamu encha live muje mu bibuze. Thank you very much for being live. May the good Lord bless you. Mugende mutambuze TikTok demo ekuleba nanga. Abatali ku TikTok, good our account simply to go and follow and start watching for the love of Oweri wanjawulo kuwawa no namwe mukimanyi. For the love of Kazweri wanjawulo mukko kuweno. May the good Lord bless you guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao.